Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance, and we have a fully loaded docket for you today. We're checking in with Robinhood Gold, who's piloting some new deposit products. No intro offers yet, but we can hope. We're even checking in on the Platinum Card in Canada for some lounge restrictions to see what potentially could come our way, at some point. And we have Citi issuing some apologies. But as far as apologies go, they're actually pretty good. It's just always Citi for whatever reason. So all that and more. So of course, if it sounds interesting to you, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now we'll lead off with a story that finally has a conclusion, at least for one of the partners involved. So this is Chase and Emirates. If you remember, Emirates Airline has been going back and forth with a lot of their transfer partners. They were, removed from the options for a while. Then they had reduced transfer rates. All that. Well, it looks like Chase has had enough, or Emirates has had enough of Chase. Either way, someone's had enough of someone, because Chase has ended access to Emirates as of October 16th. So that was, today's the 18th, the time of taping. You're watching on the 19th. So yes, that's already happened. Overall, in losing a transfer partner is never like a great thing. I don't know how popular this one was. Funny enough, if I was going to go abroad, I would want to go to the UAE and Dubai just to see if it's as sick as everyone says it is. Like, does everyone drive Lamborghinis like they drive Toyota and Honda and Ford over here? So I guess I'll have to find another way to rack up transfer partners. So either way, that is over and done. No word on what it will do for their credit card partnership. I imagine they'll probably keep it going, see what happens at partner renewal. But either way, we also don't have any updates on how they were doing with the other partners as well. So if we do, of course, we'll keep you posted. However, if you don't like Emirates miles or Chase points, you might like Capital One miles. Their card's pretty good, specifically the Venture X. Now, it does come with a price tag of about $400, but as far as annual fees go today, well, that's actually affordable, as crazy as it sounds, but it could be getting a little bit more affordable. Now, this is a super small data point, like a person on Reddit that I found who said, hey, they were actually offered a retention offer for the Venture X. So put up their post. Compliments of our credit cards, Capital One loyalty offer for Venture X. Multiple posts on here suggesting Capital One does not offer any retention offers. Called this morning to cancel, and to my surprise, I was offered a loyalty offer of a $200 credit on a Capital One travel after spending $2,000 in 3 months. I only had this card for just under 2 years. Been on and off with actually putting spend on it, if that matters. It does matter. So there you go. Thank you, sir, for sharing that. It's one person. Who's to say how widespread it is, but it's worth a phone call. You can be on the phone with customer service while you're doing many other things. So for $200, cut the fee in half. I think it's fine. It would be nicer if they're points probably, but again, Capital One's designed to go through the travel portal anyway, so I think that's more than fair spend. Cuts the annual fee in half, considering if you use the card in its entirety, you come out ahead $5, and forever, however long that's going to last. But either way, there you go. If you've coming up on your renewal, give it a shot. Let us know your results in that retention offer. Moving right along to our friends in the north, this is Canada, so let's be very clear about that. This is American Express Platinum Card in Canada. So American Express Canada adds limits to the lounge access, Priority Pass, and Plaza Premium. So it's announced that starting January 1st of 2027, so we do have quite some time. The Platinum card holders will no longer have unlimited access to Plaza Premium and Priority Pass lounges. Cardholders will receive 6 visits per calendar year. To each network, 6 Plaza, 6 Priority Pass, in case you didn't do math there. This isn't the first, this is from the doctors. He goes on to say, we've seen this in other countries' versions, Spain and Germany as well. So that's what they're looking at. Again, this is to Canada. See, guys, you should have just become our 51st state, and you'd still have the good American version. That's probably going to upset somebody. It was just to make fun of it. Overall, I don't think that, one, they've got enough time. 2, I would have guessed it's a combination of overcrowding and just profitability of those products in other countries. As we know, other countries they probably swipe as much of us, but the interchange fees or the swipe fees dramatically reduced. The card products are totally different market to market, honestly. So it could be the cost-cutting thing. Maybe Priority Pass and Plaza Premium hiked up the fee. Maybe it was an overcrowding thing. They said you got to do something about this. So I don't know that this would come to the States, because if it was going to, it probably would already have happened, because Priority Pass is all over the place. So I don't know that just reducing the platinum card alone would solve that problem. Every card has priority pass these days, so I don't think that would solve the problem here. So I'm going to guess it's more of just uh, a money issue with the foreign product. So there you go. But friends in Canada, you still got a year or so of unlimited access in there. So keep us posted if you see anything else. But you know, or again, just join up and be our 51st state. We'd love to have you. I'm Michigan, right next to Canada. I used to be able to see into Windsor when I worked in Detroit. So there you go. Now, if you're more of a less of a, I guess, locked in person, you like a lot of different transfer options, well, then you might be a fan of BILT Rewards, and they're adding a few things. And BILT's had this roadmap for quite some time now of what they're going to do, and they're moving to cardless. Of course, we had a BILT story last week. Now we've got two more. It feels like they're just slowly rolling these things out little by little, which is not bad because it gives us something to talk about. So two of them here. One of them, the first one is BILT partners with Go Puff for home delivery. BILT home delivery, as they call it. You see a little infographic there. There's a press release where they all say nice things about one another. The thing you'll want to know is it's 1 point per dollar spent, which is, pretty on par. However, if you were to redeem BILT points for GoPuff delivery, then it's 0.7 cents a point. So obviously do not do that. And there you go. You might be familiar with GoPuff. I think Chase had a credit a while back. It's just a delivery service. Probably not much interest there. But hey, there's a partnership. I don't know what the overall benefit is of it unless they get to brand it. Maybe you get a membership here, but again, you could always just earn 1 point per dollar spent on most things. So not the most helpful thing, but it's something. So there you go. Now, in addition to that, a little bit more helpful, but a little more vague, is the quest to conquer mortgages. So we've known for quite some time that BILT wants to take on mortgages in some capacity. Part of their initial offering was being able to cash in your BILT points towards a down payment. So we have this BILT and UWM, United Wholesale Mortgage. I should remember that. When I was at Quicken Loans, they hated those guys because they're also down the street in Michigan based. But anyhow, so they're rolling this out, but then they're announcing their partner, but we don't know what you're going to get or how this is going to work. UWM is the nation's largest mortgage lender now, and somehow you will earn points on your mortgage payments. UWM did recently invest $100 million into as a quote strategic partnership with BILT. So we don't know what the earning rates will be. We don't really know how it will work. It is interesting to me, at least for a number of reasons. One being in the real estate business, I guess you could say. Not really, just I live in a house and I rent two of them. It sounds so much more dramatic when you say it like that, though, because we've seen. Chasing mortgage payments is like, the final frontier, if you will, of our world. And we've seen the Rocket Mortgage card sort of try. And that was basically, it was a regular credit card, but the gist of it was like, well, if you, on a new purchase origination, a new purchase loan, you could cash out your points and then they would equal like 5% back. But if you were just using them to pay down, like on a refinance, it would not be 5%. I don't remember, it was like 2%. And then like if you wanted to pay your mortgage balance with it, it would be maybe 2%, which is not super helpful, as you may have guessed, given the tone of my voice. Which is funny because I worked there at the time that they were working on this product, and it was all the rage. I actually have the card because I just applied because I wanted the intro offer of like $200 or something like that. They actually sunset that product, completely closed it, and I thought they would have the chance of it because of the vertical integration. I mean, I wouldn't expect it to work anywhere else, other than Rocket Mortgage, obviously, or with maybe a wholesale lender who's bringing you to Rocket Mortgage. But I thought they'd have a chance. They sunset it, so no good there. We've seen Mesa credit card, which I do want to take a look at. That's probably worth a whole video. But like Mesa credit card, from my high level understanding, I haven't like deep dived it yet. But they're like, hey, well, just give us your mortgage statement. And if you spend $1,000 a month on our card, we'll just give you the points equivalent at like 1 cent per point for what you pay in your mortgage, right? So like, let's just cut out the part where we deal with interchange fees and all that. We'll just give you the points. And like, it's funny because that's like such a simple answer, but like no one's thought of it yet. I think the cash redemptions are pretty bad on that one. From what I understand, they have travel partners and stuff too. So I will take a look at that one at some point because it is genuinely interesting to me. If I'm going to do the research, I might as well just talk about it out loud and tape it, right? And then you guys can watch it or not watch it or do whatever you want to do with that. So there you go. So anyways, back to BILT UWM. We don't really know how it's going to work. I would imagine this type of partnership, throwing in that type of money, you're going to have to originate with UWM. But again, when the wholesale means generally, they're a wholesale lender, so you usually get better rates because they can shop you around and stuff like that. But we'll see. So more to come on that front. Now, someone who is pretty established and could be a potential player, I think at some point they might try to make some kind of real estate play, is Robinhood, specifically Robinhood Gold. This comes to us from a viewer who is humble and would like to stay anonymous. And it's funny, we were talking on Discord. I was like, well, the great part of that is I don't know who you are anyway, so it works out pretty good. You can stay anonymous. But I do appreciate you bringing this along and being a fan of the channel. So Robinhood Gold rolling out deposit accounts, so checking, savings accounts. They're testing them, which I could have sworn when I was talking to this guy, I was like, didn't they have this already? Because I have the Robinhood Cash Management card from back in the day. I still have it. I found it in my stack of debit cards, my debit card binders. I still have it. I collect the debit cards like Slides from Dexter Collects Blood, like that. Anyhow, apparently they don't. They got rid of it. Now I went to their website and they did not have banking on it. They said private banking, but not regular people banking. So anyhow, here's what you get. I'll put the screens up. They were shared with me. But what we're looking at basically is that you can see again your account is ready. So they're piloting it with this person. So it's not open to everybody. You can see there. So set up direct deposit to keep 3.75 APY and other perks, which we'll go through. It's $1,000 a month direct deposit. So what do you get for that? Well, again, direct, you can see the columns there. So the savings rate, 0 for no direct deposit, 3.75 if you do. Network ATM fees would be waived. Out-of-network fees, not waived. Domestic wires, still fees. Incoming wires, no fees. So you can kind of see, like, it's not the craziest thing. They do charge for a debit card, even if you don't have a direct deposit, which is oddly odd. Checkbook, also, and people, that's actually not that bad for checks. Cash delivery. Some of this stuff is locked. I think a lot of this is going to come from, you can see the lock stuff. I think it's going to come from different tiers that they're probably going to add later. Again, it's just in test right now. I mean, I don't think they're going to like shut these accounts down or anything. They're probably slow rolling them. And we know Robinhood loves to slow roll a product. So who knows when this will actually be open. I don't imagine there'll be any intro offer for these. Sadly, they're not really an intro offer type company. They spend all their marketing money on the flash and pizzazz of a solid gold card and this, that, or the other. So I don't think we're going to see anything like that. Overall, I am a fan of Robinhood Gold as a service. I don't have it. I've kind of picked being with Bank of America and preferred rewards. But again, if you stack everything on top of it, I'd like to see them do a little bit more here. But I mean, it's not a bad APY, but it's not like you can't get that in other places. So, but I think it's more so targeted to be your one-stop banking shop. And for your $50 a year, you also get this. In that case, it's not terrible. They could waive some more of these fees for gold and the direct deposit, but again, not terrible, not amazing, but not terrible. So we'll keep an eye on that. But someone who is really terrible all the time is Citibank. Now, this is the last story of the day. We've been somewhat tracking this. So Citi, the Strata Elite finally came out a few months ago. And if you remember, a lot of folks had gotten it was a tax form for it, basically the 4506T, or there's a number, I forget which number it was, but anyhow, it basically says you fill it out and we get to go with Citi, request tax returns on your behalf from the IRS. This is done so you don't doctor your tax returns. They're going straight to the source based on what you filed. So a lot of new applicants got that who had the card. The card was randomly locked. In case you're unaware and haven't had the pleasure, when your account is locked, you get no warning or heads up. Sometimes the only notice you get is like Apple Pay telling you like it's locked and it won't work, or your digital wallet. Not a good customer experience. So that's, I don't say it's been resolved, but Citi has had a change of heart, and it might have been something to do with the Wall Street Journal publishing an article about it. And that's generally when you know something's gone, quote, mainstream. Not necessarily the journal, but yeah, sure, we talk about it on our corners of the internet. But when it blows up to that point, like an average person may read about it, then you've got some traction. Citi being a top 4 bank in the country makes sense. So they're sending out, long story short, they're sending out this email that I found on Reddit. What they're doing is Let's take it from the top. So we're pleased to let you know that your account information has been verified and you're able to use your card. Well, thanks. As a valued Citi customer, we're offering you the following for any disruption this may have caused, which will be processed within 5 days. Annual membership fee. We're issuing a statement credit to the amount of the annual membership fee, $5.95, and if there's authorized user cards, that works as well. Please note that you must continue to make at least the minimum payment, of course. Welcome bonus offer. Will award your welcome bonus offer of 100,000 thank you points without the need to meet the spend requirement. That's huge. So this person got the 100,000. There was an 80,000. There's 100,000 if you did branch. So those two things right there are huge. That does, make up for it, in my opinion. I mean, you get a free card plus $1,000 plus access to those credits, which sure, the credits aren't amazing, but if they're free, that's a whole nother story. Plus, if you got the card year number one, you can double dip them, which is fantastic because right now they're calendar year, not card member year. So this is pretty good. Honestly, this is a really good apology. The issue is that you're always apologizing, this one isn't just Citi. All banks do this. If you ever had your account or product locked or whatever it is. I had this the other day with a credit union. One of my debit cards in the stack of debit cards we just talked about in the collection had been stolen. The number had been stolen. And I was trying to log into my Key Point. It was a Key Point credit union. I was trying to log into the account because I still get referrals there. And it just keeps saying, you can't log in right now. Try again later. But it turns out it was locked because of the fraud. I didn't know about the fraud. Eventually, I think I got the text message or something, but it was later, days later. And so, that's the wrong error message to promote because that error message literally says, just try again later. But it's not going to work later because you locked the account. And all banks do this nonsense, They'll respond by mail, and I know it's an official way, but there are other ways to contact people. And even when you send the letters, you could make them helpful. The letters people get asking for these documents, you can be right and wrong at the same time, and Citi can be very right. This is an official IRS document. As an American citizen who files taxes, it's your responsibility to know what it is. That's fair, but that's just not how the world works. So you're correct, but you're also wrong. And the amount of rooms I've sat in working at banks, I'm not surprised. It's somewhat surprising this still happens, but it's also not surprising. I mean, I remember very clearly sitting in a room. It was talking about in the Quicken Loans days, a title source sits underneath Quicken Loans umbrella. And long story short, we were going through the emails, the automated emails that we send to customers. And one was written in super legalese, aggressive. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense why it'd be written that way, but that's not the image that you give off as a company. Do you want to say that? And of course, it turns out no one even knew we were sending this out. This one, I would just imagine, didn't go well considering you offered all these accounts, some risk thing triggered, and you know the story by now. So if that is you, congratulations. I think this is more than worth the headache just with Citi. You know what you're getting into. I tell them to be better, but there's no chance of that. On some level, I'd rather them just keep screwing up and apologizing like this and making some home runs for some people. I mean, this person, that's a pretty good deal. So anyhow, that is the news for this week. So of course, if you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. Of course, we're posting content just like this every single week. Right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And of course, every single day over on profitablecontent.com, which is of course the channel's blog. It's always linked down below for you, as well as on the channel homepage. We have news stories just like this, plenty of bank promotions. So if you want to take Citi's money or you prefer deposit accounts with intro offers, we got you covered, and credit card offers, hopefully which none require your tax returns. Anyways, guys, that'll do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.